Hello, and welcome back to She's No Ordinary Entrepreneur, the podcast. If you don't already know me, sorry, I'm laughing because this is probably the sixth time I've recorded this introduction in different areas on a different chair because I can't get the lighting right. Anyway, if you don't already know me, I'm Laura Schiavone. I'm your host. I'm business and energy healer, coach, Reiki healer, NLP practitioner, quantum physics, like complete nerd. So look, what I want to do with this podcast, I believe communication is an art. So I'm trying a few different things, a few different ways on how I want to kind of put these things out into the world. I know I don't need to tell you any of that, but I'm just very open. I like people to get to know me. I like people to know what's going on. So over the next few months, I think what I'm going to do is tell the stories that I think are the most like profound, that have been the most profound throughout my whole spiritual journey slash entrepreneurial journey. What a mouthful. So there might be a little bit of jumping back and forth on the timeline because what I do, that's how my brain works. It might just jump back and forth and I might tell you one story within another story just because I think that that's relevant. So this episode's a good one because this is like where it started to get really juicy, where I really started to connect with spirit. And I want to tell you about this because I believe that it's really important to bring the universe into our businesses. Because if we can let go of the wheel a little bit and allow the universe to lead and us follow, that doesn't mean like us not being a leader, but if we can let go of a bit of control and have faith, have trust, be led, follow our intuition, follow the signs, listen to ourselves, then our businesses will grow a lot quicker, be a lot more successful, feel a lot more fulfilled, and all of those good things. So when I gave the keys over to the new owners. So if you watched episode 1, and if you haven't watched episode 1, go watch that because that's the story of when I manifested £50,000. And during that time, I manifested loads of other things. But one of them was because I made a decision that was it, I was done, and I wanted to move on from the salon. So within 3 weeks, I manifested new salon owners to take over the lease. I didn't sell the business as like a going concern because once I was done, I was done. I wasn't going to mess around like going through all the avenues of putting the business up for sale, waiting for like however long it was going to take to put the business up for sale and for people to be interested and all of that and like going through the books. I just didn't want that. I just wanted out. Once I decided, it was done. So 3 weeks, managed to speak to some people who were already in my orbit anyway. They had another salon and they wanted to take over the lease. And well, actually, I don't even know if they wanted to take over the. I contacted them and they were interested in taking over the lease. And I was like, thank God for that. All I needed to do was sign it over, right? Anyway, 31st of August, I hand the keys over. I was trying to manifest by the 1st of September. So that works. And after that, it took 6 months for me to receive the money that I was charging for like the assets, stock, and all of that. But that whole 6 months, I was constantly like stressing because I felt I just needed that salon, that part of my life, to be out of my hair. I just needed it so badly. And what I did within this 6 months is create so much pressure about me signing over the lease for this salon that it just took longer and longer and longer. Within this 6 months, so because I'd been working so much, and if you watch my last episode 2, I speak a little bit on like the cycles, the patterns I got myself into, especially with overworking. And I just completely burnt myself out. So what I wanted to do was have some time to myself, heal, have a bit of rest, and then go again. I've always been somebody that's very driven, I've got a very good work ethic. Like, career has always been like my main focus. So in that 6 months, I tried to take a step back and I just I couldn't. I struggled to do that. I kept trying to, right, I need to make money. I need to make money. It was just so unconsciously ingrained in me. I had to keep going. Well, I believed I had to keep going. So I was trying to have a rest, but at the same time trying to start a new business. And it was just like this push and pull effect. But during that time, I was still manifesting money. I was on my high. I had built momentum from manifesting £50,000 and then £27,000, etc. All the other things. And momentum was still going, and I was manifesting more refunds. It was just like grants, universal credit, that kind of thing. Just a bit of everything. The money was coming from everywhere, and I was trusting and believing that I could just create money just with my energy. So that year, I actually totaled up the whole year from leaving the salon to the year later. I manifested £24,000. I manifested a full-time wage. But that was really because I truly believed in it. I truly believed that I could do that. I truly believed that I could create money just with my energy. And that is true. And look, I'm not saying that everyone can go out and just create money with their energy. Like, it's so nuanced. But as you watch more of my episodes, I think hopefully you'll get a better understanding of how the universe works and how energetics work. So I was super desperate to get this part of my life out of my hair. It wasn't really an issue because what was happening, I was subletting. So the lease was still in my name. I had to pay the rent for the salon, but the new owners were paying me, and then I was paying the landlord. So I was subletting, and it was fine. It was, but they were never not paying. There was no issues there. I just wanted my name off there. But I was making it an issue. I was building pressure up. And you know what they say, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. So I came across the book called Super Attractor by Gabby Bernstein. I read this book in about a week. I think that's probably the quickest I've ever written. I've ever read a book in my whole life, because I'm a reader now, but back then I wasn't really a reader. I was too busy to read and do anything like that. Super Attractor, I read that and it literally changed my life. The reason I've called this Spirit Junkie as well is because Gabby Bernstein has a book called Spirit Junkie, which I actually haven't read, but I just love that title. Because it honestly sums me up. This is what I became. This is who I became after this point. I was so obsessed with spirit, with all these spiritual teachings, like everything. Like, I would analyze every single thing that happened in my life to understand it on an energetic and spiritual level. This book had 5 steps to spiritual surrender. I'm going to try and remember them off the top of my head. So 5 steps to spiritual surrender. One was let go of the will, let go of the will, let go of control, be led. There might have been something else on that, but I'm going to put it up in the notes anyway. Second was, detours, rejection is a detour in the right direction, something like that. Fuck, how could I not remember these? Prayer, one of them was prayer. And there is one more, I've forgotten it now. But anyway, when you think you've surrendered, surrender some more. Right, one is focus on what's thriving. Obstacles are detours in the right direction. That was the correct saying. And fucking hell, I've just fucking looked it up. Oh my God, this is just me all over. This is how my brain works. So the one step that I couldn't remember was literally why I'm filming this podcast. So the last step was ask for a sign. So yeah, I've got a really cool story coming up, so please stick with me. Anyway, so I read this book and it's teaching you how to connect with your spirit guides and your spirit teams. Now, if you don't quite believe in spirit guides, spirit teams, angels, but you're kind of curious about the universe, or you believe in the universe and you know that you can manifest, just stick with me. I'll tell you why, because when I first came to know about this kind of world, my sister talked to me about angels, and that I was like, okay, I'm not invalidating your experience here, because whatever you're telling me you've seen or what you think is real is real. It's real. It's your experience. But I'm struggling to get myself. I'm struggling to get my head around it and my belief behind angels. Like, I could go as far as the universe, and there's an energy that is helping me create £50,000 of whatever money I want and whatever the hell I want. But angels, I don't know about that. Gabby Bernstein teaches us on how to connect with our spirit team, and tells us that we have guides that are helping us all the time. So what I did, I wrote, and on in the notes app in my iPhone, I wrote the 5 steps to spiritual surrender. And then whenever I got a bit of an epiphany, or had a bit of a shift, I wrote something in this notes app just to kind of remind myself, okay, this is what has locked in, this is what I've realized. And I think it was January 2021, right? So January 2021, and I still haven't received the money from the sale of my salon, the other half of it, because they gave me half at the start, and when the lease was going to be signed over, that's when they were going to give me the other half. So I still hadn't received that money and still hadn't had the papers signed over. So I was getting really stressed out, but then I found this book about spiritual surrender, which is all to do with asking for what you want and then letting it go. So spiritual surrender is surrendering to a power greater than you and allowing that to work through you or for you. So Gabby Bernstein tells us to ask for a sign. So that's when I started asking for signs and saying, right, show me X, Y, or Z by the end of today if I'm on the right path or if I need to do this. So I really started connecting with my spirit team, with the universe by doing this, to know that, okay, actually somebody is listening to me and they are responding to me. So I think one of them, I can't remember if this was before, no, it was just before I finished reading the book. And it was when this other thing was happening, which I'm going to tell you about in a second. So I asked for a sign. What should I do for work? Because obviously I'd been off for like 5 months and I was dipping in and out of things. I was trying to launch my coaching career because I knew that's what I always wanted to do. But obviously it took me 5 years to really go all in because there's been so much that's happened in my life during that period, which I'm sure you'll get to know about anyway. So I asked, should I do this for a career or that for a career? I can't even remember what the other thing was. And I said, if I'm supposed to be doing this and this is for the highest good and this will really suit me, show me a turtle. Or if I should be a business coach, then show me a hedgehog. This was at the point where I really, it was the start of my healing journey. I was very erratic, didn't have trust in myself at all. So I was constantly looking outside of me for answers rather than just going within and figuring out what I wanted. So something as kind of straightforward as changing a career, I was struggling with. So, I reached out and asked the universe for help with that. Anyway, that night I'm cleaning out my drawers from, it was my beauty desk. It wasn't even like clothes or anything. The drawer at the bottom, cleaned all the stuff out, and there was a birthday card in there. I've never seen this birthday card in my life. I lived with my sister at the time. She'd never seen it in her life. Pulled it out. It's got a hedgehog on the front of this birthday card. How random is that? So it was the same day, or literally, it might have even been the day before I asked. By the end of the day, like the 24 hours, show me a hedgehog or a turtle to show me what I should be doing. Thank you so much for tuning into my 3rd episode. I have got a really special program coming out that I have just launched. However, it's been years in the making. I have been working on this for a couple of years. I knew I was going to do a program a few years ago, and I've just been refining it, making it better and better and better. It's something that I'm really proud of. It's a body of work that I really, really want to get into the hands of so many women, because it's not just any ordinary program. It is a program that is going to help you to lead yourself and to manifest in your business. It's called Self-Made. So it's all to do with self-leadership. It's not a business course. It's solely for you to learn how to break unconscious patterns that keep you in cycles of frustration, of stuckness, of struggle, of overworking. You're going to be connecting with your body and your energy centers and learning how to heal yourself. You're going to learn how to move the stuck energy so your energy and your electromagnetic field can flow and flow and flow so you can receive, give in balance. And we're going to focus on the vision beyond the vision. So we're going to align with our big vision, but we're also going to manifest at least one thing that you really want in during the 6-week program. You're going to see it happening right before your eyes. So if a program like this excites you, it's a group program, by the way. So you're going to join like-minded women in business. So it's going to have really good, uplifting, empowering energy. If you're interested, please drop a comment below. DM me on Instagram. Any questions, comment or DM me. I really look forward to hearing from you. The thing with signs is you ask for them, but don't expect to see them in a specific way. Don't expect them to come to you in a certain way. I remember I did the money challenge a few months after that, and one of the girls in the group asked for a sign. She asked to see like a Ninja Turtle, I think it was, which is really random, and she saw it in her dream that night. So anyway, I'm like really trying to surrender, but obviously I'm not surrendering because there's so much pressure and so much tension that I'm creating myself because I need these papers to be signed over. I need this salon out of my head. And every single day for 30 days, I would get a notification on my phone. It was as if my spirit guides were texting me, because I don't know if you guys watching have an iPhone or not, but I know a lot of you will be familiar with how an iPhone works. You get notifications pop up, but this notification was coming through my notes app, which I've never seen before ever in my life. So there was a notification that kept coming up every day that said 5 steps to spiritual surrender. And I was like, okay, are they trying to tell me, is this a sign? Are they trying to tell me that I need to read this app? That I need to read this note? That I need to embody this further? Well, of course they were telling me that. So the note kept coming up, and it would come up at random times. You know, like with the reminder app on your phone, it will come up at a specific time or when you're at a specific location. This notes app was coming up like probably when I needed it the most in the day. I'm going to put them on the screen actually, all this, because I screenshotted them all the screenshots. I'm putting them up so you can see that that I was getting notified about the 5 steps of spiritual surrender every day, but at random times. So it would be like when I wake up in the morning, sometimes it would be just before I went to sleep, sometimes it would be in the middle of the day. And I think that was happening at the times I was needing it the most, when they were like kind of intervening and probably thinking, yeah, she really needs to surrender right now. So at the times I was probably really stressing out, she needs to surrender. And this happened every single day. When I'd really mastered this, I want to say mastered this, but I never really mastered it. It's always a work in progress, spiritual surrendering, because we're so conditioned to believe that we need to work to achieve. And I feel like I'm coming to the end of that pattern now, definitely, 100%. But they do say it takes on average around 7 years for you to decondition all beliefs that you have had instilled from childhood and from society and trauma and any other experiences. So I spent a whole month trying to master the spiritual surrender. I asked for signs, I tried to let go of the wheel, I tried to surrender. I thought I'd surrendered, tried to surrender some more. One of the steps is pray for the highest good of all. Pray for the highest good. That's how you surrender. When you really want something, when you really need something, and it's not going to actually benefit the other parties, then it's not for the highest good. So what I did, I took a step back and I thought about, okay, what is for the highest good? Because me having the money now, I think is for the highest good, but actually is it? Another one of the steps is forget what you think you need. It sounds like there's more than 5 steps, but there's kind of like sub explanations for each step. But if you're interested in it, I'll pop it in the notes, check it out. Forget what you think you need. So actually, I thought I needed the money, but actually I never really needed the money. I just needed the relief. I needed the detachment from the salon. And the detachment from the salon was not going to happen from the salon detaching from me. It was going to happen from me detaching from the outcome. So that's what I did. I detached from the outcome because I looked at all perspectives. There was the landlord or the agents who were looking after the landlord. There were the guys who were buying the salon from me, and there was me. Now, I was trying to control the situation so much because I needed that relief. Well, I thought I needed it. I was pushing something that wasn't ready. I was going to say it wasn't aligned timing, but actually, time is not real and we can collapse time, which is what I did when I let go of the pressure. Okay. But then you can argue that it's aligned timing because then everything aligned at once. But obviously, that was because of the energy changed. So then I thought, okay, what if the owners don't actually have the money to pay me? Well, I know that's not really my problem, but actually, if I truly want what is for the highest good of everybody, what if they are stressed because it's not quite right for them? I want them to be happy. I want them to feel happy with the exchange we're having. So actually, maybe it's not the right time for them right now. So that really allowed me to let go of the pressure because you know what? It wasn't really affecting me. And what if it's affecting them and I'm not allowing them to get their ducks in a row? What if it was that? And then I thought about the agents. Me chasing the agents to get this moving, that was putting pressure on them as well. So, is any of this for the highest good if I'm adding extra pressure to the situation? Absolutely not. And if I want to help people to raise their vibration and I want to bring love to the world, I want people to feel enjoy, why am I adding this extra pressure to this dynamic right now? Not for the highest good. I completely let go. And within 2 weeks, it was about, I think it was just under 2 weeks after I did that and I just let go. And then every time it came up in my head, I was like, right, let this go, send it to the universe, let the universe do its thing. Every time I did that, I let go of a bit more pressure. I surrendered that little bit more. I surrendered more and more and more. And then within 2 weeks, got the money, sale went through, lease got changed hands, sorted. So a couple of months after this is when I launched my first money challenge, which was a 30-day challenge that I created to help people learn how to manifest money. So I let go of the salon in the February, March, it was April. So it was literally a month later. April, we did the 30-day challenge and it was such a success. Like I absolutely loved doing the money challenge for the first round. And we had international challengees. We had people from Dubai, we had people from America. It was so good. It was so good. Shortly after that, my manifestations started to go south.